Hello all, I hope you're enjoying the beautiful sunshine we've got going on today. Sitting relaxing with your cup of coffee and planning your day in your garden or your craft room or wherever, whatever, all the fun stuff that we can do in this gorgeous weather. Couple of quick announcements. Well, I do a quick perusal while I'm talking to make sure I've got myself organized here. Darcy's class is this Saturday, so if you are, it is sold out. So if you are registered for that, please check the supply list as well as your class kit. Check craftycapers.com under classes for anything extra that you may need. There's not a lot, but just have a look, see if there's anything that you could bring along that would make things go a little bit quicker for everybody. Let's see. Darlene M's next demo is June 4th. The usual 10:15 to 12:15, and this one is all about color layering techniques, which looks like so much fun. So yeah, come on down and join us for that one. Darlene always has so many great tips and tricks, and for those of you that don't know, we have started an album on the Crafty Capers Facebook page for people that have come to the demos and then created cards or journal pages or whatever from the techniques in that they have learned at the demos. So we post anybody's makes if they want them posted. They just have to send them to us. You can actually upload them to the Crafty Capers page yourself if you wanted to, and then I can pop them in an album. But if you're interested, go right ahead. Good morning, Jennifer. Good morning, Laverne. And then the 5th is the long anticipated 3D camera class with Linda. I think there are still a couple spots available for that one. You can register in person or online for that. Looks like that one will be a lot of fun. And then, of course, on the 7th is Crafty's 24th annual garage sale. So I am busily getting myself semi-organized for that. So I look forward to seeing lots of you there if I don't see you in the store in between now and then. So that's everything I can think of at the moment. Morning, Laura. Can't even talk. Nothing new. So what I'm doing this morning, as the caption said, is a fun fold. I'm not even too sure what to call it or what it was originally called or anything. I came across a picture on Pinterest, of course, and I thought, oh, that looks like fun. So after a little investigating and a little tweaking, I found some measurements here, some measurements there, sort of cobbled together and then tweaked it myself. And this is the card that, so there we go. Really quick and easy, actually. And this is sort of in keeping with the purple theme that Vic started yesterday. Now, this paper is Simple Stories, Simple Vintage Lavender Fields. And of course, I'm using some of the Simple Vintage Lavender Fields floral bits on the front here. So I used that for this one. And the one I'm going to cobble together today, well, not cobble, we're going to put her together today. This morning, I am using Paper Rose. So, here, I'm hoping you can see that. So, if you're interested, I'll leave that there for a second. You can take a screenshot, and there's all your measurements, because I just remembered I didn't get my bone folder out, so I better do that right now. There it is. There we go. There's my bone folder. Yeah. So we're going to get started here. So there's the measurements if you're interested in creating this card. I hope you can see them okay. And what I'm using this morning is the Paper Roses Words of Wisdom A and Words of Wisdom Basics F. So basically the cut aparts, the 4x6 journaling cards there, and then this was the butterflies on one side, and I'm using this pattern. So I have cut out all my cardstock to begin with, and now it's just a matter of scoring it at the moment. Now, most of these don't need to be scored. It's just the solid colored cardstock. And your base layer is, oh, I'll just leave it there. I think you can see it okay there. Is 8.5 by 5.5, and of course it's scored at 4.25. There we go. So that's our card base. Done. And then we have the internal layer, this lovely bit in here. And this is 7.25 by 4.25. And it is scored at 3 5/8. So 4, 5, 6, in between the half and the 3/4 on here. So 3 5/8, which is scoring it in half. And then you want to score it at 1/2 inch on either side, or pardon me, 1.5 inches on either side of that line. Now, I keep forgetting to write this down, so I just take a ruler and I go to 1.5 on my crease, little pencil line there, and then on the 1.5, and then I come over to 3 over here, which gives me my 1.5 on that side. It always looks bigger on the one side than the other. I don't know why. Then I can line it back up in here. And maybe one of these days I will remember. So basically this is at 2 and no, I have to slide it a bit. Yeah. No, that's, there we go. So this side is basically at 2 1/8. And this side is at 5 1/8. So there you go, you've got your score lines there. And now your folds are valley, whoops, mountain, and valley. And we are going to crisp those up in just a minute. And then we need our flaps. Where did I? There they are. I just had them in my hand. These two small pieces are 2 3/4 by 4 1/4, and they are scored at 1/2 inch. Oops. Not really going to see that anyway, but so we score this at 1/2 inch. both of them. There we go. And there we are. So that's all our scoring there. And now we can start adhering some of our pattern paper and what have you. So our pattern paper, I changed it up a bit for this one. I'm just gonna normally, if you want, as I did with this one, I put the same size piece on the front as I did on the inside, which is 5 1/4 by 4. But for this one, I decided I was just going to use one of the cut-aparts, and I wanted to showcase the purple paper a little bit more. So I cut the cut-apart down a little bit more than I meant to on the sides, but hey, it works. So I'm going to adhere that to the front. Actually, we're going to cheat today. We're going to be real quick. So we're going to tape runner it because I need to fill my glue. So this is just going to go on our front here. Eyeball it a bit. We're pretty good there. Okay, and then on the inside we are going to put these two pieces that, as I say, are 5 1/4 by 4. And you just don't want to encroach on the fold of the card base. So there we go. Yeah, I went to fill my glue the other day. I had glue with me to refill it, but I have a heck of a time getting the lids off to refill it. My hands are not that strong. That's why I use the glue press. So I've decided from now on I'm leaving nutcrackers in my class kit because I find they work great for taking tops off of all sorts of things. So there we go. So I got to throw nutcrackers in my class kit. So we just adhere those in. Now, before we, where's my pencil? There we go. Let's erase our pencil marks here. There we go. And I like to fold it up before I line it, or before I really crease it, and make sure it is evenly which is not always the easiest thing to do with multi-folds like this, but we'll give it a shot here. So, there we go. So then I will go in and get this one. It's not perfectly even, but there we go. And then we will score these two, or crease I should say, those two score lines. And now we're going to add our bits and bobs here. So the outer edges of this piece. They are 4 by 1 7/8. You cut 2 of these. And we're just going to very quickly adhere them. Now I'm actually, the only thing you have to be aware of is when you add the flaps, it does make it fairly thick, and it does make it, so you may want to, consider making a belly band if you want it to stay closed for the recipient. Once you've added your back flap type things. Unless, of course, you can come up with a better way for a place to adhere them. I couldn't. So I wanted the flaps hidden, where you attach them. I wanted it out of sight. So, and then these pieces, sorry as I ramble on about nothing, these pieces are 4 by 1 7/8. And I find it a little bit easier if I sort of flatten it out a bit and try and make sure I've got the edges relatively even. The top and bottom edges, there we go. And then we've got these guys. And the one thing I like about using paper like this, which is really non-directional, is if I happen to goof, then it will work on. Sorry, Victoria, but I liked this better than the butterflies. Besides, I thought it was, a little bit easier to write on, and you can add to it. Make it your own. So basically, what I do with this, you've got your crease here. You're going to attach it. Fold this piece forward a bit. And you're just going to attach it to the back of your small fold. This one you really do need a liquid adhesive. And you can put your, Smart Money says put your paper on first. There we go. Then you want a little bit of liquid adhesive on here. You want the extra strength with the, and then you take a wet wipe and you take the glue off of the wrong side that you just put it on. We don't want it there. We want it on the inside. So I'm going to let that one dry off a bit for a second because I don't want it sticking to absolutely everything. So we'll work on this one. So there we go. Now you know what not to do. I always have the best advice for no-nos. There we are. So again, you've got your, and you're adhering there. So you're putting it in here. Here's my, there it is. And then I just take it and make sure it's level, top and bottom. And I got to put it down. So level top and bottom, and not interfering too much, if at all, with the crease. There we go. And now we'll take this guy. Yeah, that's not too bad. It is adhered down anyway, so. And same sort of thing. Pop it in. Make sure it's level top and bottom and not interfering too much with the crease. There we go. Okay. So there's our inner layers. Now comes the fun part. Oh, Lordy, I got smart. I measured. And I believe I got smart. I measured, but I forgot to mark down the measurement. And I believe, if I remember correctly, yeah. From the edge of the purple here to the edge of the purple on the outside, if it is 1 inch, lining up the center of this with the fold, get the 1 inch mark there, and there we go. So I'll erase that in a minute, and then make sure I've got 1 inch over here. Well, maybe it was 1.5. Let's try 1.5. I really should remember to write things down. Aha, yeah, 1.5 is much better. So there we go. 1.5 there. Let's get rid of this one. And there we go. And now I'm going to use just the tape runner at the moment. I can, if need be, add liquid glue later on. So then I'm just going to adhere this. I'm going to make sure that this is in the center of my card crease, and make sure this is lined up even up and down. There we go, and just mark on that 1.5 mark, and then we'll flip this over, same thing. On the 1.5 mark there. Make sure it's level, there we go. And I'm a little cockeyed, but you get the general idea, and there we go. It really is a lot easier than what I've made it out to be. You know me, these things usually are. So, there we go. That is my fun fold for this morning. There are the measurements. It really is quite easy, and it's a lot of fun for using up all sorts of different papers. Yeah, so I hope you ladies get some time in your crafting spaces, and I hope you all enjoy the sunshine today. And I look forward to seeing some of you in store. And yeah, have a great day. Talk to y'all soon. Bye for now.